its parents, and the circumstances of its life. This exploration delves into the soul's divine odyssey, a journey extending far beyond the confines of birth and death. If you've ever questioned your identity and purpose, remain with me until the conclusion. What is the soul's origin? Yogananda asserts, you are not this physical form. You are a spark of the infinite, pure consciousness we term God. The soul is neither born, nor does it perish. It is eternal, without beginning or end. However, upon entering the material realm, it assumes a body. Its true source, however, remains the supreme reality, God, the blissful consciousness that endures eternally unchanged. Yogananda illustrates this by likening the soul to a sunbeam. As sunlight emanates from the sun, so too does each soul originate from God. Yet, shrouded by the veil of illusion, Maya, it forgets its true nature. This marks the commencement of the cycle of birth and death. Yogananda offers a compelling analogy to differentiate between soul and body. The body resembles clothing, while the soul is the wearer. Just as we shed old garments and don new ones, the soul departs one body and enters another. Crucially, remember, you are not the clothing, you are the wearer. The body is transient. It is born, ages, and ultimately dies. The soul, however, remains immortal. As Yogananda stated, you do not are a body. You have a body. You are not a mind. You have a mind. You are the soul, infinite, divine, and eternal. Thus, when we inquire about our origin, the answer is God, and our destiny is a return to God. This constitutes the soul's journey. This is the spiritual secret behind birth. Why is this world characterized as a divine play? According to Yogananda, this world isn't a mistake or accident. It's a divine drama, a Leela orchestrated by God himself. But why would a perfect God create this universe? Yogananda explains that God created the universe to know himself, to express and experience his own divine essence. He stated that God slumbers in minerals, dreams in plants, stirs in animals, and awakens in humankind. This entire creation is a cosmic evolutionary plan where God reveals himself in countless forms. To stage this divine drama, God created Maya, the power of illusion. Maya convinces the soul that it is merely the body, the mind, a limited being. The truth, however, is that the soul is limitless, a direct emanation of the divine. Yogananda declared, the greatest illusion is believing we are this body. The truth is, we are the soul, eternally free, eternally conscious. Maya doesn't separate us from God. It merely causes us to forget our inherent oneness with God. In this way, the world becomes a stage, and each soul assumes a unique role. As a theatrical production features diverse characters, kings, servants, heroes, villains, so too does every soul in this world play a part. And just as a play concludes and the curtain falls, all souls eventually return to their true divine form. This is moksha, or liberation. Yogananda described life as a cosmic motion picture. If we become overly engrossed in the narrative, we suffer. But if we perceive it as God's play, it becomes a magnificent journey. This divine drama is not a snare, but an opportunity to recollect our true selves and return to our source. This understanding imbues life with depth and unveils the hidden truth behind birth. Have you ever pondered why your life unfolds as it does? Why were you born into your specific family, location, and circumstances? Paramahansa Yogananda explains that nothing is arbitrary. Underlying everything is an invisible yet potent law, the law of karma. Every thought, every emotion, every action we perform is energy, and that energy is released into the universe. The universe retains it, sometimes as blessings, sometimes as challenges. Yogananda likens karma to a seed. If you plant a mango seed, you'll harvest mangoes, not apples. Similarly, whatever actions we sow, we must eventually reap their consequences, either in this life or the next. The mystery of birth. Why are we born into specific families and conditions? Where and how does a soul take birth? The answer lies in past karma. If in a previous life, a soul lived a life of devotion, service, love, and truth, its next birth might be in a peaceful or spiritual environment. But if it engaged in greed, violence, or deception, the soul may be born into challenging circumstances to facilitate learning, reflection, and growth. Yogananda compares life to a spiritual school and each birth to a new class. Until the soul learns its complete lesson, until it realizes God, it continues returning to this school. Can we alter our karma? Absolutely. This is the most remarkable aspect. Yogananda states, karma is not punishment, it's a tool for awakening. Through meditation, prayer, the guidance of genuine spiritual teachers, and selfless service, we can redirect our karma. Practices like Kriya Yoga can liberate the soul from old karmic patterns. The law of karma is just and equitable, not harsh or cruel. We reap what we sow, but with awareness, discipline, and devotion, we can cultivate new seeds for a brighter future. Birth is not accidental. It's the soul's ongoing journey to reach its divine source, God. Why do we experience repeated births? Many ask, if the soul is eternal, why does it repeatedly incarnate? Isn't one lifetime sufficient? Yogananda provides a beautiful response. This world serves as a spiritual training ground. The soul matures gradually over many lifetimes. Consider this. Can a child master an entire school curriculum in a single day? Similarly, the soul requires numerous lifetimes to fully develop, to cultivate wisdom, love, and divine awareness. Each birth is a classroom where the soul acquires new knowledge, gains fresh experiences, and progresses closer to God. Each life is a lesson, and each lesson brings us closer to God. Paramahansa Yogananda. This is why each death is followed by another birth, enabling the soul's consciousness to continue evolving. Every soul commences in a simple, innocent state, like a seed. Through karmic experiences, the soul grows, like a seed becoming a sprout, then a tree. Along the way, it may succumb to temptation, become entangled in ego, desire, anger, and greed. But each experience, even the painful ones, sparks awakening. Yogananda observes that suffering, failure, and confusion often propel the soul inward. After repeated setbacks, the soul begins to question, who am I? Why am I here? And that is when the true journey toward God commences. Does the cycle of birth ever conclude? Yes. When the soul becomes fully awakened, when it understands that it is not the body, not the mind, not the emotions, but a divine spark of God, then the cycle ends. Yogananda terms this moksha, or final liberation. It is the state where the soul no longer requires rebirth. It becomes one with God. Rebirth is not a punishment, it's an opportunity. Every birth brings the soul closer to the truth. We are all on this journey, some at the beginning, some in the middle, and some nearing the end. But the objective remains the same: to know God, to experience God, and to merge with God. The purpose of birth is not merely enjoyment, but enlightenment. Why are we born? Yogananda asserts that we are not born simply to eat, earn, sleep, and die. If life were solely about enjoyment, animals would fulfill this purpose as well. But humans are distinct. We are born with consciousness, a capacity that allows us to seek the infinite. We are not born merely to He stated, "You were sent to Earth to learn to love God above all. Our true mission is to awaken the divine within us, to gain mastery over our senses and desires, and to strive toward the peace, bliss, and love found only in God. When we pursue solely material pleasures, money, status, relationships, we experience fleeting joy, but an inner emptiness ultimately persists." Yogananda termed this divine homesickness, a profound yearning for God that keeps the soul restless. Here, yoga doesn't simply refer to physical exercises or breathing techniques. True yoga signifies union with God. Yogananda described Kriya Yoga as the fastest means to transport the soul directly to the divine. When we follow the path of yoga through meditation, prayer, introspection, and the grace of a true guru, our lives begin to transform. We realize, I am not this body. I am the soul. I am not destined for suffering. I am meant to realize divinity. Each of us has arrived on earth for a sacred reason, to return to our divine origin. Our true home is not this world. It is the eternal consciousness from which we came. God. Yogananda stated that life is not for idle pleasure, but for inner discovery. Once we understand this, every experience, good or bad, becomes an opportunity for introspection. Our birth is not merely for pleasure. It's a divine opportunity to awaken the soul and return to God. Like a wave rising from the ocean and returning to it, the soul's journey begins in God and ends in God. When the soul begins to question, who am I? Where is God? The universe provides an answer, a divine guide known as the Guru. Yogananda said, when the disciple is ready, the Guru appears. The spiritual path is not always straightforward. It's fraught with confusion, fears, and ego traps. The Guru is the divine light that illuminates the path through darkness. The Guru is not merely a teacher, he is a liberator. He helps remove past karmas, elevates the soul's consciousness, and guides it to liberation. This is not an ordinary relationship. It's a sacred bond spanning many lifetimes. The disciple doesn't merely receive knowledge, he surrenders the ego. The Guru awakens the divine within the disciple. Yogananda stated that the Guru is the speaking voice of the silent God. When the soul desires to communicate with God, it is often through the Guru that God responds. This connection is not a chain, it's a bridge to freedom. The Guru's role is to help the disciple remember who they truly are, to guide them in love, devotion, and meditation. Can the soul progress without a Guru? Perhaps to some extent. But as Yogananda said, attempting to cross an ocean without a boat is exceedingly difficult. The Guru helps control the disciple's energy, directs their prayers, and lifts them when they falter. The Guru's presence isn't limited to the physical body. His consciousness is always with the disciple. Yogananda wrote about his profound love and devotion to his Guru, Sri Yukteswar Giri. He was not merely his Guru, he was a divine conduit of God's love. He explained how his Guru didn't just teach, he transformed him from within. The Guru is like a lamp that dispels the darkness within the soul. He doesn't teach solely with words, but with the silent language of the soul that connects one to God. A soul that completely surrenders to a true Guru becomes free from the cycle of birth and death. Paramahansa Yogananda taught that death is not the end of life, but a gateway to another state of consciousness. The soul never dies, only the body changes. Just as students advance to the next grade after completing a class, the soul progresses to its next lesson through what we call death. Yogananda beautifully stated, the soul leaves the body as a bird leaves its cage, free to soar into higher realms. If the soul is spiritually aware, engaged in deep meditation, and connected with God, death becomes a moment of liberation. Yogananda explained that the soul experiences three main stages. The astral plane, a subtle realm where the soul rests and assimilates lessons from its previous life. Spiritual evaluation, where the soul reflects on its thoughts, actions, and emotions, a time for profound review. And then, birth or higher realms. Depending on one's consciousness and karma, the soul either takes birth again or ascends to higher divine realms. If the soul has practiced deep meditation in this life, it may transcend the cycle and move toward liberation, moksha. Why do we fear death? Because we mistake the body for our true identity. Yogananda reminded us, you are not the body, you are the soul, eternal and infinite. Fear of death vanishes when we experience even a glimpse of our true spiritual nature. Through meditation, yoga, and spiritual community, we begin to reside in soul consciousness. Then, death feels like a transition, not a threat. Death is not punishment. It is part of the soul's journey through multiple lives, guiding it back to union with God. One who understands death also understands life. Yogananda, when a child is born, we often say it was God's will. But according to Yogananda, it is not solely God's will. It is also the soul's choice. Yes, the soul chooses its family, its circumstances, and even its parents based on past karma and the spiritual lessons it needs to learn. Why does a soul choose specific parents? Because it needs to balance past karma, to encounter souls like parents or siblings from previous lives, and to find the optimal environment for growth and spiritual evolution. Yogananda described the soul as an intelligent force that selects conditions that best support its development. For example, if the soul needs to reduce ego, it may choose humble parents. If it needs to cultivate compassion, it may choose a family that requires caring for others. Does the soul always have a choice? Partially. The soul possesses some degree of choice, but karma and divine will also play roles. Sometimes the soul is presented with options and chooses the one that best aligns with its growth. Have you ever observed a child who has a profoundly emotional connection to their parents, even at a young age? According to Yogananda, this is because the relationship didn't begin in this life. Many children are returning devotees, old friends, or spiritual companions of their parents. Some come to fulfill old promises. Some parents are even souls who were gurus in past lives, choosing now to guide their disciple through parenthood. Sometimes a soul may appear to have been born into a difficult or harmful environment. Yogananda states that this too is part of karmic balance. Such a birth might be necessary for the soul to learn profound lessons, endure challenges, and repay past karmic debts. Even in pain, the soul grows. God's justice never fails, and the soul's inner strength ensures its continued progress. Every birth is not random. It is a sacred responsibility for both the soul and the parents. Karma determines birth. Paramahansa Yogananda says, "As you sow, so shall you reap." Whatever actions you perform, good or bad, will bear fruit, either in this life or the next. Karma is the invisible thread that connects the soul from one life to another. Karma is not punishment, it's cosmic justice. Yogananda explains that karma is not about punishment or reward. It's a scientific and spiritual law. Just like gravity, every thought, feeling, and action creates energy that eventually returns to us. He called it spiritual mathematics. Good karma leads to positive results. Bad karma becomes lessons that help the soul evolve. When a person dies, Their accumulated karma creates a subtle energetic record. Sanchita karma is accumulated karma from past lives. Prarabdha karma is the portion of karma destined to bear fruit in this life. Kriyamana karma is current actions that create future outcomes. Based on Prarabdha karma, the soul is given a suitable body, family, country, mindset, and life circumstances to experience what it must. A soul that helped others may be born into a supportive and peaceful home. A soul with violent or deceitful karma may face more challenging conditions to learn and grow. Can karma be changed? Yes, karma cannot be avoided, but it can be transformed. Kriya Yoga and meditation burn karma like fire burns cotton. Through prayer, selfless service, devotion, and deep meditation, past karmas begin to dissolve. The soul becomes lighter and life begins to shift. Karma is not meant to trap us. It's a teacher. Every experience, joy or sorrow, is meant to help the soul grow. Your next birth is not random. It's a conscious consequence of your past. The day you realize that every action is a seed for your future, your journey of self-awakening begins. What is moksha? Yogananda stated, the soul, made in the image of God, longs to return to its source. Moksha signifies liberation from bondage, from karma, ignorance, and the cycle of birth and death. It is the moment the soul fully realizes, I am not this body, not this mind, not this life. I am the eternal divine soul, a part of God. How do we attain liberation? Yogananda emphasized that moksha isn't a prize bestowed from without. It's an inner awakening, a realization of truth. To reach this state, he recommended 4 main paths: Jnana Yoga, intellectual understanding of soul-God unity; Bhakti Yoga, devotion and surrender to God; Karma Yoga, selfless service and love for all; and Raja Yoga, meditation to hear the voice of the soul. Yogananda also taught Kriya Yoga, a spiritual technique he introduced to the West, which accelerates the soul's progress toward liberation. Moksha is not an end, it's the beginning of eternal bliss. He stated that liberation is not the end, but the beginning of eternal service and joy. Once free, the soul not only rests in God, but becomes a guiding light for others. Like a lamp illuminating darkness, liberated souls help others awaken as well. In summary, the spiritual journey of birth and death reveals that birth is not a biological accident, but part of the soul's conscious plan. Every relationship, every joy, every struggle is a step toward moksha, toward merging with the divine. As Yogananda reminded us, each birth has a purpose, each soul has a mission, and that mission leads us home. We are not the body, we are the soul. Our birth has a divine purpose. Death is not the end, it is a new beginning. And ultimately, our highest aspiration is to become one with God. If you not only read this wisdom, but truly embody it, you too can become free from the cycle of birth and death. Now is the time to awaken